For anyone who historically knows what a boomer is and what a sooner is, you'd be kind of perplexed to wonder about OU fans. Well, they're also perplexed at the moment that Oklahoma State could possibly be stealing a couple Sooners. No, that couldn't be. O State could never get any OU players, right? Okay.
You are Locked On Oklahoma State, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma State Cowboys, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Howdy, y'all, and hello, all. Welcome back to Locked On Oklahoma State, your daily stop for all things Cowboy and Cowgirl related. My name is Cody Stovall. We're available on all of your podcasting platforms, visually as well on YouTube. Find me personally on Twitter at AllDayOState. Today, we're partially brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment matter more with FanDuel. Right now, our new customers get $150 back on bets with any $5 moneyline bet at FanDuel.com/lockedon. We're not going to jump into the historical reasonings of what is a boomer and what is a sooner, but let's just suffice it to say it's kind of odd that they celebrate these things, but it's not odd if you're an Oklahoma State fan, right? It kind of encapsulates what it means to be an OU fan for the most part. All the crying and the whining and the posturing, we've been dealing with it for our entire lives. But after Trace Ford leaves Oklahoma State to be an OU Sooner, after Kelly Maxwell does the same thing, that hurt a lot of Oklahoma State fans in the heart. So now you're seeing that Reggie Grimes could potentially become a Cowboy. Green could potentially become a Cowboy. And I've heard from so many people today, it'll never happen. Oklahoma State could never get either of them. There's no snowballs chance, and you know where. They can't come up with the NIL money. They can't come up with enough competitive reasons for them to come. Just everything under the sun that I've heard why there's no way Oklahoma State would have a shot at getting either Reggie Grimes or Cayden Green. Okay, well, time will see. But let's break down some of the guys that I expect to be Cowboys, and then some guys that have some high probability to be Cowboys, and then some guys that we should probably definitely keep swinging for. We'll start off in the keep swinging category. Number one for me, Remington Strickland, 6'4", 300-pound offensive lineman from Texas A&M. The reason that I think he should definitely take in consideration what we do at Oklahoma State is because he is literally designed to play every single offensive lineman spot there is. So the versatility that you look for from an offensive line, this is exactly Charlie Dickey's cup of taters. So if we can get Charlie Dickey in this offensive line to showcase what we're going to do to the A&M Aggies, Remington Strickland will be watching, and it'll be a good test. Legend Journey. Maybe Texas Tech can open his eyes. I still cannot understand how he picked Cal over Oklahoma State or even Texas Tech for that matter. So maybe Texas Tech can reopen his eyes and let him think about whether Cal's going to be the right spot or not. All right, Micah Kapana. This is tough sledding with him going to Michigan, but we should never sleep on Benny Tonga. We should also never sleep on what Benny Tonga is able to do when he has the combined minds of Malake Smith and Trey Griffiths. You never know what they can work out together. Circling the wagons here, Jalen Bordley. Yes, the undersized linebacker that decommitted from Oklahoma State earlier on in the season. I don't know if this is necessarily a competition thing, but if it's more of just a numbers thing, I do think that there's a little bit of numerically the guys that we were able to bring in that are going to be able to compete at not only safety and the linebacker position may have scared him away a little bit, but if we're still having an opportunity here, get here, and we'll find a way to make it work for you. Kobe Savage keeps swinging. K-State has watched this man roam the back end for some time now, so he really doesn't need much of an introduction. He's a certified bad mamma jamma. And with Nick Sessions a backup safety, special team style of guy outside of the portal now. It leaves a little bit of an opening window-wise for a safety position, but we have a multitude of ways to address that, which we'll get to a little bit further on. But I don't think this is more of a NIL thing than a numbers thing. I just think we have a lot of safeties. I think NIL-wise, we could get it worked out thanks to Pokes with a Purpose, but numerically, it might be a tough road for him. Devin Jordan, cornerback, Tulsa, Union. I know he wants to go to OU, but we should be back in Arlington. That is the expectation. Why would you want to go compete for 5th, 6th place in the SEC when you can come compete for titles and definitely end up in the 12-team playoff at Oklahoma State? It's worth consideration. And you're an Okie. Chima Chineke, the 6'5", 240-pound defensive end from Iowa. Well, he's going to Iowa. Iowa's nice, right? And I know their defense is definitely worth the watch, but it's not Stillwater. Come on, man. I really thought Chima Chineke was somebody, especially after meeting Brian Nardo, that we could have reeled in. So I don't want to give up hope just yet. Just like I don't want to give up hope just yet on Danny Okoye. Yeah, maybe we screwed the pooch a little bit in the beginning. Families, Cowboy fans, he really likes what we have to offer before, maybe not making him, quote unquote, a priority. Let's make it right. If we can get a couple of these OU guys in and you can kind of make it right with Danny Okoye, you're setting up the strength of the offensive line for a long time. So I that would be from the keep swinging category, some guys I definitely want to keep an eye on. Then we'll jump into the high probability, followed by guys who I think maybe we could expect to be Cowboys. But real quick, ladies and gentlemen, I do have to remind you, it is the money-making season, and there's a multitude of ways to capitalize on your dollar bills. But PrizePicks is really one of the most creative things that I've ever really seen. And they give you the ability to make money. We like making money here. Right now, all you got to do is go pick more than or less than 2 to 6 player stat projections. That's it. And then you can watch the money roll in. With basketball season here and getting hot and heavy, I love the combo projections where you can go in the specials leagues from football and basketball. And if you want to combine Tylen Wallace and Cade Cunningham, you can do that. If you want to combine Jalen Warren and Marcus Smart, you can do that too. Or you can check out this reboot policy. There is literally nothing better in the game. If you have a player that gets hurt in the first or second half for football or basketball games, and they do not come back in the second half, they are automatically rebooted. PrizePicks is the only daily fantasy sports platform with that kind of injury insurance. They got quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and enormous selection of players and stat types. And that's really what makes PrizePicks number one for daily fantasy sports apps. So go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnCollege to use this code, LockedOnCollege, all one word, for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, that is prizepicks.com/LockedOnCollege, all one word, for a first deposit match up to $100. So now we get to jump into the guy that I feel like we'll have pretty good options, pretty good opportunities to be Cowboys. And I wouldn't be surprised if they decided to pull the trigger. All right. I think, first of all, we're just going to get out of the way. We're going to ruffle some feathers. Cayden Green. Yes, you got so many options out there. Cayden Green can go to USC. He can go to Washington. He can go to Oregon. He can go somewhere in the SEC. Sure, he can. But this is another instance where Pokes with a Purpose is going to be able to kind of put themselves on display for the same reason that some of the same people say we would have no shot at getting Cayden Green, though there's the same people that say we couldn't give Ollie Gordon Cayden Green money, so Cayden would never even listen. He's listening. Yeah, he has a lot of options. But I think where there's some smoke here, there might be at least a little bit of kindling at least. So Cayden Green, I think, is a probability that he could be a Cowboy. Same with Jalen Lucas, the 5'7", 165-pound running back / wide receiver / return specialist from Indiana. We said if you want to get wrapped up in some film and have some fun, Jalen Lucas is the film to go watch. So hopefully you had the opportunity to do so. Another one in the same vein, Kiefer Sibley. We've talked about him before. The 5'10", 170-pound running back that has a lot of versatility. I legitimately think that Kiefer Sibley could be classified as an athlete every bit as much as a running back. So wherever he ends up finding a home, he just needs to get home to find a home. Mr. Sibley, come home. We'll find you a home, sir. Devin Grant, 6'4", 190-pound cornerback from Buffalo. Led the conference in picks with 5. He was a first-team all-conference performer with 79 tackles, 8 pass breakups, 2 pick sixes in one game for Central Michigan, and 2 block kicks. Tell me that doesn't sound like a pretty good shoe-in squeeze fit for Corey Black with a little bit more size even? We are fending off Michigan State and Vandy, but he already got us some get back with the 2 pick sixes against Central Michigan. We've got some get back as well with Vandy because they got Whit Edwards from us. So let's go get this man. Devin Manuel, 6'9", 310-pound offensive lineman, transferred from Arkansas, who was a top 30 player in the state of Louisiana coming out. He's going to have a lot of opportunities as well. But this idea that we get 6 starting offensive linemen back and we can potentially get a couple more of these guys to come in with the young cats, we really, 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 really have to like where we're going with the offensive line position. Also, we also got to like the rest of these guys. These are the dudes. You ready? These are the dudes that are to be announcing Oklahoma State Cowboys here for too long. Kobe Hilton, the 6 foot, 205-pound safety from UTEP. He fits what we were wanting to do, and he kind of has that Ladarius Webb in him with a little bit more size, frame, body by glass. Fits perfect for Kobe Hilton. So let's get the safety from UTEP. Gabe Johnson, 6'4", 240-pound defensive end that may or may not be able to beat some wide receivers in a 100-yard dash. Yes, this is Leon Johnson's brother. He killed it, absolutely killed it at Eastern Washington. Goes to Washington State. Washington State informs him beforehand that he's got to have a surgery, and then they want to act like that the surgery caused a bunch of problems with scholarships and da-da-da-da-da-da. So he's got some stuff to work out. Hopefully he can get it done. Hopefully Wazoo doesn't completely screw the pooch here there, because I really, really like to get Gabe Johnson on campus. John Carlos Miller, the 6'5", 245-pound tight end from Elon. We know what Josiah Johnson has been able to do. Even if it's a small sample size, and some of us can agree that Josiah Johnson probably could have got and should have got a little bit more. Well, part of that's going to be with the disbursement of the quarterback position, but I think that he will be a great fill-in for Josiah Johnson, and I think he provides exactly what Josiah is leaving off the table. Then we get to stay on the defensive side of the ball. Jacoby Elephant, 6'4", 170-pound cornerback from St. Louis. The same high school as Cam Epps territory, baby. We know what Cam Epps can do. Cam Epps ain't 6'4". So imagine if we can get these two guys almost back-to-back from the same area, and we can get them to buy in and be the same type of guys, because Cam Epps also came in to play cornerback after playing quarterback. So Jacoby Elephant would be a very good pickup for us, and we're really only competing against Boston College, UConn, and Ball State. Tennessee and Kentucky showed some interest, but I really, 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 really like what we could do with this kid in the Brian Nardo 3-3-5. We know we got Rodney Fields and we love our legacies. So LaDainian Fields, you just need to give up on TCU, buddy, and come be with your cousin in Stillwater. Now, the reason is that he's at TCU is because we just really got in on him late. He kind of surprised us at some camps earlier on this year, but he also looked like a wide receiver guy as well. If he's going to play the defensive back position at TCU, follow Rodney, come to Stillwater. We can do the same thing with you here, buddy. It worked out pretty well for Justin Kirkland and Oklahoma State last time we dipped down to Utah Tech. Give me Cyrus Webster, 6'4", 260-pound defensive lineman, 79 tackles, 12.5 tackles for loss, 7 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, a forced fumble recovery, on top of already leading all of the defensive linemen as a true freshman previously at the defensive line. Cyrus Webster, Justin Kirkland. Justin Kirkland's already said, let's do this thing again, man. Let's run this thing back right next to each other at this level. It makes too much sense. It makes too much sense. And even though we do have some talent at the defensive line spot, I think a lot of us saw this year that we've got to do a little bit more. We've got to have a little bit more. And Reggie Grimes might be that little bit more. That's right. The dude who played more than Trace Ford after Trace Ford left Oklahoma State could now flip the script and come be a Cowboy. Not only can he come be a Cowboy, but I'm hearing we could maybe pencil this guy in, which to me is just so sweet. It would be so fulfilling. All because of these OU people saying that Oklahoma State doesn't have a snowball. And you know what? We won't get Reggie Grimes. We can't get Cayden Green. We couldn't even get their third string special teams guys because we don't have the NIL. We don't have the structure. We don't have, the semblance of championship aspirations and stability. But if you look at the OU transfer portal, I don't know that they exude confidence in a lot of those areas, right? It's just kind of odd to me. All right. Now, we don't have time to do like the whole top 25. So I'll break in real quick. I did see a couple different publications recently have put out the way too early top 25 type stuff. And from a Big 12 specific slant, they got Utah in the top 10, Arizona right at like 14. They had, it was K-State at 15, Oklahoma State at 17. And I feel like I'm getting something. Oh, KU, that's what it was. K-State was at 21. KU was at 14. We were at like 16, and then there was another Big 12 school in there right around us in the 17 range. I don't think that's bad. Actually, I could agree with that. I think a lot of us are excited to see what our Big 12 Arizona Wildcats are going to be able to do to OU. That's going to be fun. We're going to be rocking our red and blue on that day. All right, so Wildcat Nation, know we got your back for that one. But yeah, if you're talking about the way too early top 25, some of the Big 12 teams that should be in it, I think Utah being in the top 10 is fair. I think KU being in right around the top 15 is fair. I think Oklahoma State in the top 15 is fair. I think K-State hovering right around that 20 range is pretty fair. I think that it would be viable even to maybe take into consideration what Iowa State is going to look like, what some teams like BYU could potentially do in the portal. But yeah, I like having a decent amount of schools in the way too early top 25, even if it's some of the new people, even if it's some of the Pac-12 people. Because at the end of the day, we're all going to be rooting for the same thing, and that is to chop down the trees of the Big Ten and the SEC. We can start some of that. Just like we can start some of the Heisman talk. Now, Ollie Gordon is going to be on it. And you're seeing a lot of other names. And we'll just we'll kind of dive more into it, but we'll stay from a Big 12 slant. Ollie Gordon's got to be there. Jalen Daniels needs to be there. Quinn Ewers, he is Big 12, but he won't be Big 12. But he should probably be there. I do think that as much flack as he's going to catch, I think Dylan Gabriel, he should definitely kind of be on that list as well. There's some dudes in the Big 12 that are going to be on the Heisman list. Now, from a quarterback perspective, that's going to be kind of interesting. Cam Rising, right? Cam Rising, I think, could be on some early Heisman projections. I think that Ollie will probably start off as a top 3 early voting, I would imagine. Yeah, I would say that makes sense. All right. Before I let you guys run on out of here, we got to talk basketball. Okay. You all knew that. But we also got to talk FanDuel. Get in on the action. There's not a better time. And FanDuel's going to take care of you. FanDuel's going to help you get it right. Okay. And with our new customers currently getting $150 back in bonus bets off of a winning $5 moneyline bet, if you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's literally not a better time to get in on the action. It's $150 back in bonus bets if your team wins. The app is safe, secure, and super easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options. Player props, over, under, spreads. Who's going to win the conference champions? Who's going to win the division title? Who's going to win the Super Bowl, Heismans, and more? Go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. FanDuel.com/lockedon, all one word. Go there now to kick off your NFL money-making season with FanDuel, the official partner of the NFL. So, the Big 12, we've known is that good. Well, then pops up BYU. I don't think anybody envisioned BYU being this good. Houston, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Baylor, okay, you could see it. But unfortunately, OU's pretty daggone good. You can never sleep on KU. You can never really sleep on K-State. Jerome Tang's proven to be a pretty good commodity and understanding the pulse of what to do and how to get hot late. I don't think anybody's doubting the talent in Lawrence. I don't think anybody's even completely doubting the talent at Texas. But Texas is way down this list. West Virginia, really good ball club, still pretty far down this list. Cincinnati, a really good ball club, maybe somewhere down this list. So where does Oklahoma State fit? Well, we just did a little bit of a losing streak, all right? Beat Tulsa. Here's the bright side. The bright side is we play in the Big 12. Downside, we play in the Big 12, and we're having a hard time with non-Big 12 teams. Other bright side, if you do get hot in this conference, every win will be enough to score on the metric systems that do help in postseason play. Because we didn't even talk about Iowa State. We didn't even talk about the magic that can happen at the Hilton Coliseum. We didn't even talk about how crazy Texas Tech can be at times. This conference is ridiculous. I mean, we've known that for a long time. We knew that adding some more basketball schools was going to make it even more crazy. But nobody really saw BYU. Nobody saw BYU. doing exactly this. But just like we always talk about in football, it's a bunch of grown men, right? That's a bunch of 23, 24, 25-year-old type dudes that understand life. They understand how to go through the trials and tribulations and the workouts every single morning and combine it with school, and to have the right amount of discipline to not let outside things affect you. In basketball, it makes a little bit more sense because you don't have 125 dudes. But if this is how it's going to be, and you can't even count on, we knew Houston was going to be crazy good. We know Cincinnati historically has always been pretty daggone good at basketball. But we were hoping maybe UCF and BYU would give us a little bit of ability to catch our breath before Arizona comes in the daggone conference. So where do we fit in? Well, it's not looking good, but glass half full. We've got the talent. We've got the ability. If we can get hot and we can start stringing some things together, this is why I haven't completely, jumped on the Mike Boynton's got to go tomorrow train. I mean, this is year 7. It's got to be this year or bust. But it's looking more like a bust because to me, we have to at least make the tournament. At least make the tournament. And it's not looking likely. But we are barely losing, right? Most of our losses are by 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, 4 points. That's not a consolation prize, right? It's not a participation trophy or extra pat on the back for nothingness. But we're showing some fight, and we're showing the ability to score at times, to get some stops at times. Last year, it took a while for our defense to kind of show how good it was. Maybe that's the thing here because we've got a couple of shooters. Like Javon Small can put up some points. Connor Dow can put up some points. Eric Daly can put up some points. We've got some dudes. We just got to string it together. Hopefully before Big 12 season. But the benefit is if you do start winning in Big 12 season with your Houstons and your BYUs and your Baylors and your OUs and your Cincinnatis and your West Virginias and your KUs and your K-States and your Texases, then you will be, resume-wise, probably looking at a postseason berth. And if you play the gauntlet of the Big 12 and you get hot at the right time in the Big 12, you're going to be pretty prepared for postseason play, no matter how difficult it becomes. So it's not all bad, okay? Not all bad. There's some positives there. But, all righty, that's all we're going to have for this one, right here. You know I love you. As always, God bless. Go Pokes. And thank you for tuning in to make this your first listen here on Locked On Oklahoma State. You could be anywhere. So here. Go hit the like button, share, subscribe, comment. All my podcasting people out there, make sure that you go leave a review. All righty. Later, taters.